The morning sun cast long shadows across New York's empty streets. Birds nested in the gleaming windows of skyscrapers, their calls echoing through the silent canyons of steel and glass. Everything stood perfectly preserved, as if humanity had simply stepped out for lunch and forgotten to return. Tom Reed pressed his hand against the cool surface of a building, his scaled fingers detecting no trace of decay. 300 years had passed, yet the city remained pristine. As the lead archaeologist of the Galactic Historical Society's Earth mission, he had expected ruins. Instead, he found a civilization frozen in time. "Director Porter," Tom called out, his translator converting his native clicks and whistles into standard communication frequencies. "You need to see this." The expedition leader walked over, his hover unit humming softly in the quiet air. James Porter's crystalline body structure caught the sunlight, sending rainbow patterns dancing across the pavement. "Another dead end, Reed. We've been searching Earth for 3 months now." Tom shook his head, pointing to his scanner. "The energy readings here are unlike anything we've seen before. The humans didn't die out or leave. According to these readings, he paused, checking the data again. They went somewhere else. Not up, not out, but sideways." Porter's crystalline structure darkened with doubt. "Your obsession with humans is well known, Reed. It cost you your position at the Academy. Don't let it cloud your judgment here." "Look at the evidence," Tom insisted, his tail twitching with excitement. "Every city on Earth stands perfectly preserved. No signs of war, disease, or mass exodus. Their technology remains operational, their data networks intact. They didn't vanish. They transformed." Kay Miller, the team's quantum computing specialist, floated down from her examination of a nearby building's upper floors. Her gaseous form condensed slightly in the morning cool. "Tom's right about one thing," she reported. "I found active quantum signatures throughout the city. They're subtle, but they're everywhere, like echoes of something massive that happened here." Porter moved closer to examine Tom's readings. The data showed complex patterns of dimensional distortion, suggesting manipulation of space-time itself. "If you're right, Reed, why did they do it? And why leave everything behind?" Before Tom could answer, a low hum filled the air. The team's instruments lit up with alerts as waves of energy pulsed through the street. The perfectly preserved buildings seemed to shimmer, like heat waves rising from hot pavement. "There." Tom pointed to a figure walking down the street. A human figure, transparent and glowing with inner light. Before anyone could move closer, it vanished, leaving only a trace of unusual energy readings. "That's impossible," Porter whispered. "A hologram." Kay's form swirled with excitement. "No, Director. That energy signature matches nothing in our databases. Whatever we just saw, it was real." Tom felt vindication surge through him. After years of ridicule for his theories about human advancement, he finally had proof. "They didn't just disappear," he said softly. "They evolved. Everything we see here, the preserved cities, the active technology, the quantum signatures, it's all part of something bigger." The team spent the rest of the day documenting their findings. As the sun set over Manhattan, casting the empty city in golden light, Tom stood at a window high above the street. He watched birds settle into their nests in the corporate logos of long-abandoned companies. "We're missing something," he muttered to himself. "All this evidence, but we still don't know why. Why would an entire species choose to transcend?" As if in answer, his scanner beeped. New energy signatures appeared, leading like breadcrumbs toward the heart of the city. Tom smiled, his scales shifting to reflect his excitement. The humans hadn't forgotten Earth. They'd left clues for someone smart enough to follow. The real question was, were they ready for what they might find at the end of the trail? The underground facility stretched deeper than any of their scans had shown. Tom Reed's tail dragged against smooth metal floors as the team descended into the heart of the Rocky Mountains. Their lights cast dancing shadows on walls covered in strange symbols that seemed to shift when viewed directly. "The energy readings are getting stronger," Kay Miller announced, her gaseous form glowing brighter in response to the increasing quantum activity. "Whatever the humans left behind, it's big." Director Porter moved cautiously at the front of the group, his crystalline body reflecting their lights in fractured patterns. "Remember protocol. We don't touch anything until—" The corridor suddenly blazed with light. Hidden panels slid away, revealing a vast chamber that took their breath away. In the center stood a massive structure of crystal and metal, pulsing with soft blue energy. "It's a quantum computer," Kay whispered, her form swirling with excitement. "But the architecture, it's beyond anything we've ever seen." Tom approached a nearby console, his scaled fingers hovering over its surface. "Look at this. It's still active after 300 years. The screen flickered to life at his proximity, displaying text in the human language English. "Welcome to the HFY," the screen displayed. "Voice NTR AC active." A holographic figure appeared before them, not the ghostly human form they'd seen in the city, but something more solid. It wore simple clothing and had a kind face. "I am the Guardian," it said. "I maintain humanity's legacy. You have questions." Porter stepped forward. "Where did the humans go?" The Guardian smiled. "A direct question. But first, you must understand why. In the year 2157, humanity achieved what they called dimensional consciousness. They learned to exist beyond physical form." Screens around the chamber came to life, showing images of human history. Cities grew, technology advanced, and then everything changed. They watched as humans began to glow with inner light, becoming transparent before vanishing entirely. "The Watchers pushed us to this point," the Guardian continued, "though they didn't mean to." "The Watchers?" Tom asked, his scales shifting color with interest. "An ancient species that viewed humanity as a potential threat. They contained us, studied us, never realizing their actions would lead to our transcendence." Kay floated closer to the quantum computer. "This facility, it's not just an archive, is it? It's a bridge." The Guardian nodded. "Humanity didn't abandon Earth. They evolved beyond it. This facility contains the complete record of human knowledge, but also serves as an anchor point between dimensions." Tom's scanner suddenly beeped rapidly. The energy readings were spiking, and the air itself seemed to ripple. Through the distortion, they caught glimpses of another place, a realm of pure energy where consciousness itself took form. "They're still here," Tom realized. "Watching us right now." "Always watching," the Guardian confirmed, "waiting for others to be ready. The preserved cities, this facility, even my existence, all part of the path they left for those who might follow." Porter's crystalline form darkened with concern. "Follow? You mean?" Humanity discovered that physical form was just the beginning. They left everything unchanged as a monument to their past, yes, but also as a teaching tool. Every species has the potential to transcend if they choose to learn. The chamber hummed with power, and more screens activated. Data streamed across them. Physics, philosophy, consciousness studies, dimensional theory, humanity's roadmap to evolution. "We should report this to the Council," Porter said firmly. "The Council already knows." The Guardian's image flickered. "They've always known. The question is, what will you do with this knowledge?" Tom stared at the quantum computer, its blue light pulsing like a heartbeat. The humans hadn't disappeared. They hadn't died. They'd become something more, and they'd left behind the keys to their transformation. The real question was the galaxy ready for such a leap? In the silence of the archive, surrounded by humanity's greatest achievement, the answer waited to be discovered. The Guardian's hologram flickered as new images filled the archive chamber. They showed massive ships hanging in Earth's ancient skies, their dark forms blocking out the stars. The ships belonged to the Watchers, and they had been there long before humanity looked up and noticed them. They came to Earth 50,000 years ago, the Guardian explained. Before the first human cities, before written language. They watched us grow. Tom Reeb moved closer to one of the screens, his scaled fingers trembling as he touched the image. Why didn't they make contact? Fear. The Guardian's voice carried a hint of sadness. The Watchers had seen other young species destroy themselves. They thought humanity would do the same. Director Porter's crystalline form sparkled with sudden understanding. The Council, they're connected to the Watchers, aren't they? They are the Watchers, Kay said softly, her gaseous form condensing with shock. That's why they sent us here. They wanted to know what really happened to their test subjects. The Guardian nodded, and the images changed. They showed humans building cities, creating technology, fighting wars. But something else appeared in the background of every image. Strange shadows, unexplained lights, mysterious objects that disappeared when looked at directly. Humanity wasn't as blind as the Watchers thought. The Guardian continued. They noticed the signs. They studied the Watchers who studied them. And they made a choice. The screen showed a new series of images. Scientists working in secret labs. Engineers building strange machines. Philosophers and spiritual leaders gathering in hidden places. Instead of fighting the Watchers, humanity decided to prove them wrong. They would not destroy themselves. They would transform themselves. Tom's scanner picked up new energy readings as the quantum computer pulsed with power. The air shimmered, and through the distortion, they saw them, the Watchers themselves. Ancient beings of crystal and shadow, larger than any known species, watching Earth through eyes that had seen galaxies born. The Watchers thought containment would keep humanity safe, both from themselves and the galaxy. Instead, it pushed humanity to look beyond physical form entirely. Kay floated closer to one of the images. The dimensional travel technology. Humans didn't invent it to escape the Watchers, did they? No, the Guardian agreed. They created it to understand them. The Watchers existed partially outside normal space-time. To truly see them, humanity had to learn to do the same. The chamber filled with new images, humans learning to extend their consciousness, to perceive new dimensions, to exist as pure energy. The Watchers had wanted to protect humanity from the dangers of advanced technology. Instead, they inspired humanity's greatest leap forward. The day humanity transcended, the Guardian said, the Watchers finally revealed themselves. They came to Earth in force, ready to stop what they saw as a dangerous evolution. But they were too late. Porter moved through the holographic images, his crystalline body reflecting each scene. What happened to them? Humanity welcomed them. The Guardian smiled, offered to teach them. The Watchers had spent so long trying to prevent disaster, they had stopped growing themselves. Humanity showed them there was another way. The quantum computer's light pulsed brighter, and new energy patterns filled the room. Through them, the team caught glimpses of something vast. Consciousness freed from physical form, minds touching the fabric of space itself. Some of the Watchers chose to follow humanity's path, the Guardian said. Others returned to the stars, carrying warning of what humanity had become. But they never understood the truth. What truth? Tom asked, his scales shifting colors with emotion. That humanity hadn't become dangerous. They had become free. And they left all this, the cities, the archives, the technology, to offer that freedom to others. In the depths of the archive, surrounded by the evidence of humanity's greatest achievement, the team faced a choice. They could report what they'd found, or they could begin to walk the path humanity had left behind. The Guardian waited patiently for their decision. After all, it had been waiting for 300 years. Deep in the archive chamber, the Guardian brought up new holograms. These showed the final days of physical humanity, not with chaos or fear, but with purpose and unity. The Ascension Protocol took 10 years to complete. The Guardian explained. Every human on Earth had to agree. One person saying no would have stopped everything. Tom watched as the images showed massive gatherings in cities worldwide. His scales rippled with awe at the sight of billions of humans moving together with single purpose. But how did they convince everyone? Kay asked, her gaseous form swirling with curiosity. Humans were known for disagreeing about everything. The Guardian's hologram smiled. They shared the truth. Let everyone see what they had discovered. The choice was simple: remain as they were and face extinction, or evolve into something greater. The screens showed new images, massive machines being built in every major city, strange devices that pulsed with quantum energy, billions of small personal devices that humans wore like jewelry. The transformation machines? Porter asked, his crystalline form catching the light of the displays. Yes, the Guardian said, but they were only tools. The real change happened in the mind. Humans had to learn to think beyond physical form, to see reality as it truly was. Tom's scanner picked up increasing energy readings as the quantum computer showed the process. Humans learning to extend their consciousness, to exist in multiple dimensions, to become pure energy and thought. Watch, the Guardian said softly. The holograms showed the day of transformation. Billions of humans standing in their cities, in their homes, in nature, all wearing the small devices, all connected through a network that spanned the globe. They chose to keep everything as it was. The Guardian continued. Every building, every machine, every piece of their civilization, a monument to what they had been, and a gift to those who might follow. The images showed humans beginning to glow. First their eyes, then their whole bodies. Light streaming from millions, then billions of people. The energy readings on Tom's scanner went off the scale. The process took exactly 1 hour, the Guardian said. At precisely noon Greenwich Mean Time, humanity stepped sideways into a new form of existence. Kate floated closer to one of the screens. But not everyone went, did they? Some must have stayed behind. No, the Guardian corrected. All went forward, even those who had doubts. In the end, they understood that humanity had to evolve as one. Porter moved through the holograms, studying the transformation machines. These are still in the cities, aren't they? Still working after 300 years. They wait, the Guardian confirmed, for others who choose to follow the path to transcendence. Tom's scales shifted color as he realized the truth. That's why everything was preserved. Why the cities still stand perfect after 3 centuries. They're not just monuments. They're templates, the Guardian finished. Models for other species to study, to learn from, to use when they're ready. New energy patterns filled the room. The team felt something vast and aware brush against their minds. The transcended humans were watching, waiting to see what they would choose. The Council must know about this, Porter said firmly. The whole galaxy needs to know. Consider carefully, the Guardian warned. Knowledge brings responsibility. Once you understand the path to transcendence, you must choose whether to walk it. Through the quantum distortions, they caught glimpses of what humanity had become. Beings of pure energy and thought, existing in dimensions beyond normal space, free from physical limitations, freed from death itself. The choice lay before them, just as it had lain before humanity 3 centuries ago. Remain as they were, or step into a larger universe. In the silence of the archive, surrounded by the legacy of humanity's greatest choice, they began to understand the weight of their discovery. The path to transcendence was open. The only question was, who would be brave enough to take the first step? The headache hit Tom without warning. He stumbled, his scaled hand pressing against the archive's metal wall, as strange images filled his mind. He saw Earth's cities through human eyes, felt human emotions, experienced human memories. Tom, Kay's gaseous form swirled around him in concern. What's wrong? The humans, Tom gasped. They're showing me things. Their memories, their feelings, their understanding. The Guardian's hologram watched with interest. They've chosen to make contact, to share their experience directly, Director Porter moved closer, his crystalline form dimming with worry. "Is it dangerous?" "No," Tom said, his scales shifting through colors as new understanding filled him. "It's beautiful. They're showing me how they see reality now, how they exist across multiple dimensions." The quantum computer's lights pulsed in sync with Tom's words. Energy patterns filled the air, forming shapes that seemed to extend in impossible directions. Through them, the team caught glimpses of what humanity had become. "I can see them," Kay whispered, her form rippling with excitement. "They're everywhere. In the energy between atoms, in the space between moments. They've become part of reality itself." Tom straightened up, his eyes glowing with reflected energy. "They want to show us something. All of us." The archive chamber filled with light. The walls seemed to disappear, replaced by views of Earth from a perspective none of them had ever imagined. They saw the planet as transcended humanity saw it. A nexus of energy patterns, a crossroads of dimensions, a beacon of potential. The cities, Porter realized, they're not just preserved. They're alive with human consciousness. Every building, every machine, every atom is watched and maintained. The Guardian nodded. Humanity never left Earth. They simply changed how they existed within it. They became its guardians, its caretakers, its living memory. Through the shared vision, they saw the truth. Earth was more than a monument or a museum. It was a seed, planted carefully in the galaxy's consciousness. A demonstration of what was possible when a species chose to evolve rather than stagnate. Tom gasped as new understanding filled him. The other planets we found. The empty worlds with signs of advanced civilization. They weren't abandoned. No, the Guardian confirmed. Those species followed humanity's path. The transcended humans showed them the way, just as they're showing you now. Kay floated through the energy patterns, her form interacting with the quantum fields. How many species have made the leap?" 12 so far, the Guardian said, each finding their own way to transcendence, each joining the greater community of evolved consciousness. Porter's crystalline form sparkled with reflected energy. "And the Watchers? The Council? Some have evolved. Others still cling to physical form, watching and waiting. The choice must be made freely. That is humanity's greatest teaching." Tom felt the human memories and emotions begin to fade, but the understanding remained. He saw now why everything had been preserved, why the path had been left open for others to follow. "They're not just showing us what they became," he said softly. "They're showing us what we could become." The energy patterns shifted, forming into shapes that almost looked like human figures. They moved through the chamber, observing the team with ancient wisdom and newfound joy. "The question remains," the Guardian said. "Now that you've seen the truth, what will you do with it?" The team stood in silence, watching the dance of transcended consciousness around them. The path to evolution lay open before them, just as it had for humanity 3 centuries ago. In that moment, surrounded by the echoes of humanity's greatest achievement, they began to understand. The empty Earth wasn't a memorial to what humanity had been. It was an invitation to become what they had become. The only question was, were they ready to accept it? The archive's warning systems activated without warning. Red lights flashed as new energy signatures appeared in orbit around Earth. The Watchers had returned. "They're here," the Guardian announced calmly. "The ones who chose not to evolve. They've detected our activities." Tom's scanner showed massive ships entering the atmosphere, larger than any he'd ever seen. His scales darkened with concern as he realized what was happening. "The Council must have called them," Porter said, his crystalline form dimming. "They want to stop this knowledge from spreading." The archive chamber filled with new holograms showing the ships descending toward major cities. The Watchers had come in force, ready to contain what they saw as a threat to galactic stability. "They still don't understand," Kay observed, her gaseous form swirling with anticipation. "After all this time, they still think in terms of physical power." The Guardian's hologram smiled. "Watch." As the Watcher's ships approached Earth's surface, something remarkable happened. The air itself seemed to come alive with energy. Patterns of light spread across the sky, forming networks that connected every city, every building, every particle of the preserved Earth. Humanity's response, the Guardian explained, just as it was 3 centuries ago. Through the archive's sensors, they watched the Watchers attempt to land. But everywhere their ships tried to touch down, reality itself seemed to shift. Space bent around them. Time flowed strangely. Their mighty vessels became like shadows, unable to affect the physical world. The humans aren't fighting them, Tom realized, his scales shifting with excitement. They're showing them the truth. The largest of the Watcher's ships halted above New York. A message boomed through the atmosphere, translated into all known languages. This knowledge must be contained. The galaxy is not ready. In response, the energy patterns intensified. The quantum computer pulsed with power as humanity made itself known. The air filled with light as billions of transcended human consciousness revealed themselves. They were ready for us, a new voice said. One of the Watchers had appeared in the archive chamber, a towering being of crystal and shadow. This was a trap. Not a trap, the Guardian corrected. An invitation. The same invitation humanity has offered for 3 centuries. The Watcher moved through the chamber, studying the displays of humanity's transformation. We sought to protect the galaxy from humanity's potential for destruction. And instead, Tom said boldly, you pushed them to reach their potential for transcendence. The energy patterns shifted, forming into human shapes that moved through the chamber. They passed through the Watcher's form, sharing their memories, their understanding, their truth. The Watcher trembled. This is what they became. What they could always become. What anyone can become, Kay added, floating closer. That's why they left everything intact. Why they preserved their path to transcendence. Above the Earth, the Watcher's ships began to withdraw. The being in the chamber watched them go, its form flickering with new understanding. We were wrong, the Watcher admitted. All these centuries, we thought we were containing a threat. Instead, we were standing in the way of the galaxy's evolution. The human energy forms moved through the chamber, their presence filling every corner with light and possibility. They had become more than the Watchers had ever imagined. Not a species to be feared, but teachers who could guide others to transcendence. The choice remains, the Guardian said to the Watcher. As it has always remained, will you continue to watch, or will you finally learn to see? In orbit, the last of the Watcher's ships disappeared into space, but in the archive chamber, one stayed behind, ready to understand what humanity had been trying to teach them all along. The path to transcendence wasn't just for humanity. It was for everyone who was ready to take the first step. 1 year had passed since the confrontation with the Watchers. Earth had changed. Not physically. The cities still stood pristine, maintained by humanity's transcended consciousness. But now ships from across the galaxy filled the skies above those silent streets. Tom Reed stood at the entrance to the archive, watching groups of different species tour the facility. His scales rippled with pride as he saw their reactions to humanity's legacy. Another busy day, Kay said, her gaseous form condensing beside him. 10 new species arrived this morning to study the transformation process. The Guardian's hologram appeared between them. Earth has become what humanity intended, a beacon of evolution for the galaxy. They watched as a group of crystalline beings like Porter examined one of the transformation machines. In the year since their discovery, 37 species had chosen to follow humanity's path. Each transcendence strengthened the network of evolved consciousness that spanned the dimensions. The Council has changed too, Porter said, approaching from the quantum computer chamber. Half of them have chosen to evolve. The others at least support those who wish to try. Tom's scanner picked up the familiar energy patterns of transcended humans moving through the facility. They were always present now, openly teaching and guiding those who came to learn. Have you decided? Kay asked Tom softly. She knew he had been considering the choice that faced all who learned humanity's truth. Tom looked down at his scaled hands. "I think I'm ready. The humans have shown me so much. Their memories, their understanding. I want to see reality as they do." The Guardian nodded. "Many feel the same, but some choose to remain in physical form, helping others understand the choice. Both paths serve evolution." Through the archive's windows, they could see the Watcher who would stay behind. It moved among the visitors, no longer containing or controlling, but teaching and explaining. Its own transformation had shown others of its kind that change was possible. "Earth is more than we ever imagined," Porter said, his crystalline form catching the light. "Not just a preserved monument or an empty memorial. It's a seed of transformation spreading through the galaxy." Cave swirled thoughtfully. Humanity knew this would happen. They knew that by leaving everything intact, by preserving their path to transcendence, they would change the universe. Tom watched as more visitors entered the archive. Each came seeking understanding, hoping to glimpse the greater reality that humanity had discovered. Some would choose to evolve. Others would return home with new knowledge. But all would be changed by what they learned here. "It's time," Tom said finally. His scales shifted through rainbow colors as he made his decision. The Guardian smiled. "The transformation chamber is ready. Humanity will guide you through the process." Tom felt the familiar touch of transcended human consciousness on his mind. They would help him shed his physical form, teach him to exist across dimensions, show him the true nature of reality. "We'll be here when you return," Kay promised. "However you choose to exist." Porter's crystalline form brightened. "Go well, friend. Show us what lies beyond." Tom entered the transformation chamber, the same type that humanity had used 3 centuries ago. As the quantum fields activated around him, he felt no fear. Humanity had shown him that evolution wasn't an ending, it was a beginning. The chamber filled with light as the process began. Tom Reed, once a doubted theorist who believed in humanity's greatness, prepared to join them in transcendence. In the skies above Earth, ships continued to arrive. On the streets below, more visitors walked through the preserved cities. And everywhere, invisible to physical eyes but felt by all, the consciousness of evolved beings watched and welcomed and taught. Humanity's legacy lived on, not in empty cities or silent streets, but in the transformation of the galaxy itself. One consciousness at a time, one choice at a time, one evolution at a time. The universe would never be the same.